A New York notary public is asked to take the acknowledgement of a real estate document affecting property in the state. The notary fills out the certificate of acknowledgement using a form based on guidelines provided in Real Property Law 309-A. However, the signer is unable to provide traditional identification, so the notary instead relies on two credible witnesses who know the signer personally. Which of the following statements would result in an invalid acknowledgement under Real Property Law 309-A? Let's have a look at our four choices to determine the solution. Choice A states, the notary did not personally know the signer, but relied on two credible witnesses to verify identity. Well, if we look at section 182.5 entitled Satisfactory Evidence of Identity, and we jump to subsection B, it states, for any individual signing a document who physically appears before a notary public, satisfactory evidence of identity requires identity verification through, and then I've skipped and taken an excerpt for the purpose of answering this question to subsection 5, which states, the oath or affirmation of two witnesses who know the individual personally and provide identification that meets the requirements of paragraph 1 of subdivision B of this section. But we see here that the notary public can rely on two witnesses. So therefore, going back to our choice, when it states that the notary public did not personally know the signer but relied on two credible witnesses, that would not invalidate the acknowledgement because it's a perfectly acceptable way of identification. Therefore, choice A is not the correct solution. Choice B states, the notary omitted the venue, i.e. county and state, from the certificate of acknowledgement. Now, if we look at section 137 of the Notary Public License Law entitled Statement as to Authority of Notaries Public, it states that the notary public must include the venue. Okay, but it also states, if we scroll down to the beginning of the next paragraph, no official act of such notary public shall be held invalid on account of the failure to comply with these provisions. So therefore, even though the notary public omitted the venue, that would not in and of itself invalidate the acknowledgement for such a clerical error, and therefore choice B is not the correct solution. Choice C states, the notary recorded that the signer acknowledged executing the document in their representative capacity. If we look at section 309-A of the Notary Public License Law, it states here that as a part of the form that the notary public is filling out, that the notary acknowledges that he, she, they executed the same in his, her, their capacities. So coming back to choice C, the notary recording that the signer acknowledged executing the document in their representative capacity is in fact what the notary public does do with this form, and therefore choice C is not the correct solution, which leaves by process of elimination choice D. But let's have a look just to be certain. Choice D states the certificate of acknowledgement used did not substantially conform to the statutory form provided by New York Real Property Law. Now, if we go back to that 309-A, you can see here that it states that the certificate of acknowledgement must conform substantially with the following form. So indeed, if the notary public does not conform to the statutory form provided by the New York Real Property Law, that indeed would invalidate the acknowledgement, and therefore choice D, the certificate of acknowledgement used did not substantially conform to the statutory form provided by New York Real Property Law, is the correct solution.